Hey guys, Gruz here. Today we're checking out a new edition of a retro gaming book that just came out a couple weeks ago or so. It's called The Secret History of Mac Gaming Expanded Edition. This book originally came out back in 2018, but it's been out of print, so the author decided to re-release this as an expanded edition with bonus content. The original edition was published by Unbound, who is like a crowdfunding website for books. This new edition is published by Bitmap Books, who specializes in more of the retro gaming type of books. They were the ones that actually reached out to the channel to see if we wanted to check out a copy of the new book here on the channel. I usually don't accept offers like this unless it's something that I think you guys would really be interested in. And let me tell you, if you're watching this channel, you'd most likely love this book. So this is a book about early Macintosh gaming. You don't have to have any knowledge about retro Mac gaming before you come into this. It's not a book about nostalgia. The focus is more on education, where the author took more of a historian approach, cataloging the stories of the people who made these games and why they were significant. The author conducted several interviews over the course of several years to obtain original first-hand information for this book. It is a thoroughly researched book, and I haven't found anything in here that I would disagree with. This book covers the stories of the folks behind some of the most iconic Mac games. Companies like Soft Dorothy, Silicon Beach Software, ICOM Simulations, Bungie. There are literally hundreds of vintage Mac games talked about in this book, from games that a lot of people already know about to the obscure classics on the platform, and the Mac had a lot of those. I would say that there are times here where I think they might have tried to fit a few too many games in the book. It can be a bit overwhelming at times, but all the biggest names in Mac gaming do have pages and pages in this book, so it really is a matter of how deep you want to go. This book was written by Richard Moss, who I find to be a fantastic journalist, and has a very captivating style in this book. His book doesn't assume that you already know anything about retro Mac gaming or who these people in the book are, but rather lays out their stories, their games, their achievements, and keeps it interesting the entire time. In Richard's own words, the reason for this book was to shine a spotlight on people and ideas that have never received the attention they deserved. I think that's awesome. This is a book for anyone who's interested in digging deeper into Mac gaming history, or really obscure gaming history in general. The Mac did have a role in shaping gaming as we know it today. Games like Deja Vu, Dark Castle, Marathon were groundbreaking for the time. If you know about these games already or not, there is so much original information in this book. There's a lot to learn. It's actually an amazing feat in itself how the author was somehow able to track down some of the developers of these games. That's nuts. Like I mentioned, this book is a collection of stories. As such, it's the type of book that you can pick up and flip to any chapter and just start reading. There's also a game index in the back of the book. If you want to know more about a specific game, you can easily find the chapter that the game was mentioned. I'm sure there are a number of people out there that already have the original release. And a question you might have is, what's the difference in this new version? This new version features 6,000 new words of additional stories. That's like several pages, which is in addition to the 115,000 words in the 27 chapters of the original edition. It's also got a new foreword by Graham Devine, who is probably best known for the adventure game Seventh Guest, but was also somewhat famously a supporter of the Macintosh as a gaming platform. He worked at id Software for a while and helped port the original Quake 3 engine to the Mac, which was important because several games would end up using that engine and in turn would be able to support the Mac. There's also a new text layout for the book. Everything looks a lot more centered in this edition. And it includes an additional 60 images, as well as an icon gallery in the front and the back of the book. There's also an excellent timeline of the key moments in Mac gaming history, spanning from the release of the Mac in 1984 all the way to the end of the classic era in the year 2000. I'll also briefly mention that I compared the two editions of the book side by side, and this new one is built differently. I'm not an expert in book printing or anything, but in my humble opinion, this one feels a bit sturdier. If you're interested in this new edition, you can get one directly from Bitmap Books. I've included a link in the description. It's good to see this book available again because before this re-release, you'd have to spend $300 for a physical copy on Amazon. Yeah, right. This release is not $300. This one currently sells for about £30 plus shipping direct from Bitmap Books. which is roughly $40 US. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now Bitmap Books is based in the UK, and I am in South Dakota in the US, so that's pretty far away. I thought it would be helpful to show you guys how Bitmap Books ships these out to make sure your order arrives safely. They're not paying me or even asked me to show you this or anything. I just thought this was interesting, and I have much respect to see how well this was packed. So first, it comes in a poly mailer. Inside of that is your standard cardboard book shipping box, which looks to me like this one did its job and took a beating in shipping. Inside this box is the book, with all the corners surrounded in foam. And if you think that's it, oh no, we've got yet another layer of foam wrapped around the book. And if you thought they couldn't do any more, you'd be wrong, because there's also a layer of cellophane or shrink wrap to keep that fresh new book smell sealed in. But yeah, this is The Secret History of Mac Gaming Expanded Edition. A fantastic re-release of a fantastic book about a fantastic subject that is close to my heart, and in my opinion, never got the attention it deserved. If you're watching this channel, I know you're gonna love this book. If you're curious, all the games I've shown in this video are talked about in this book. Check it out if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it to let me know. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for your time today, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Goodbye.